Are you a life coach who wants to make a difference in the world? Do you want to share your wisdom, passion, and experience with others? Do you want to grow your business and reach more clients? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you need Life Coaching Today. Life Coaching Today is the largest platform on the web for life coaches, therapists, and hypnotherapists who want to enhance their visibility, gain exposure, and connect with clients. Life Coaching Today is more than just a directory. It's a network of opportunities. By joining Life Coaching Today, you will get access to a magazine where you can be featured and connect with over 30 million subscribers. Be a guest to our podcasts with over 55,000 subscribers. A directory where you can showcase your profile, services, and testimonials to thousands of potential clients. And that's not all. Life Coaching Today also offers a free 30-minute coaching session on Tuesdays and Thursdays, where you can be coached or meet your next client. A flexible pricing plan where you can choose the best option for your budget and goals. A dedicated customer service team where you can get help and guidance whenever you need it. So what are you waiting for? Join Life Coaching Today and take your life coaching career to the next level. Visit www.lifecoachingtoday.com and sign up today. Life Coaching Today, the largest portal on the web connecting coaches, therapists, and hypnotherapists.
Good morning, everyone. Hi, how are you doing this morning? This is Kadada Esmera Gray, and I am your conflict coach on Life Coaching Today Presents. I hope you are doing well. I hope everything is fantastic this good August 1st. I can't believe it's August, y'all. So you guys are going to have to ping me and let me know, for everyone on Facebook, if you can see me live, because it doesn't look like it's Facebook Live is working for me today. Oh boy, it's always a tech issue. So let me know. Let me know in the chat if you guys can see me Facebook Live, because I have some really, really great guests today. And before we get into that, like, my voice sounds a little bit, I don't know if the word is like huskier or whatever, but I can tell you my voice sounds like pain. I have what they deem an invisible illness, fibromyalgia. And these last couple of days, I feel like my body has literally, every muscle in my body has cramped up. And it is like, like those time capsules for medication that are slow release. My body is slowly unwinding. And I've got pain all over my body in spaces I didn't even know I had muscles and bones. It's really weird when you have fibromyalgia, because it hurts, like your bones hurt. Don't know how that happens. So I have pain in my voice. That's why I sound the way that I do. But good morning, everyone. Again, it's August 1st, y'all. I don't know how we got here. I hope that, you guys have been able to go on vacations, spend time with the kids. Oh, Lord, buy school supplies. I know in Georgia, y'all, like, some kids went back to school yesterday in Georgia, which is wild. I'm thankful and grateful that all my babies are out of the K to 12 or the pre-K to 12 school system. But I do enjoy seeing all of the first day pictures of all the little people in their cute little backpacks and everything. I feel like I need to buy some of my own school supplies and donate them. Maybe that's what I'll need to do. I need to find a teacher. So if you all know a teacher that is in need in her classroom, post it in the chat for me. And then, like I said, welcome. It's August 1st. We have so much to talk about, I swear, since last Thursday. And this Thursday, we have lived a whole lifetime of life. Life is lifing, y'all. And there's political lives. It's so much. Can I just say that I need to talk about self-care quickly. And if your self-care only involves alcohol, I'm going to need you to try something different, because wine is nice, but health is better. And I just want to say self-care, because right now the world is full of energy of new political changes that are coming, that not even are coming, that have arrived. y'all. Like our Vice President Kamala Harris is now the presidential candidate, and there is a exuberancy, if that's a word, exuberancy, that is present in each side. Every political party, and we have multiple ones in the United States. And so just everybody is just excited, and everybody wants to go and go and go and go and plan and plan and plan and plan some more. But I want to talk about self care quickly, because what will happen, because this is, it's almost like the law of physics. I don't know which one, but I'm going to say that because I feel like I'm intelligent. We will have there, everyone's going to be so energetic, and then it's going to start to wane and fall off and boom and crash. And there's going to be a lot of us that are going to crash. And that's not healthy. So I need you all to learn how to meter what it is that you're doing, right? If you're volunteering, do not do this 7 days a week. Do not do this 6 days a week. Only do it for part of the time. Don't do it a full 8 hours every day. It's unhealthy. Listen, I can speak to it. I do this work. And I have come to realize that, and oddly enough, in my social justice retreat, my restorative justice retreat, a couple of weeks back, I was like, gosh, we all have these like pains and aches. And not to say as we get older, we're not supposed to have that, but it did cross my mind though, that it made me wonder if we are entering into the space of other people. With this work that we're doing, we're absorbing everyone else's energy around us, and we're sometimes absorbing pain. And so, a lot of us, when you do the work of others and be of assistance, you do actually absorb everyone's energy, their pain, the conversations. And, so what do we do with that, right? You got to get that out of your system. So I encourage you to find ways to do so. And I just want to tell you all my quirky ways. Of course, I've got to walk the doggy, Zora, because I've got to spell her name this morning so she don't think she's about to come on camera. I walk the dog, but I do have to get back to my dancing because I've been traveling. But I take ballet and I take singing lessons. And, here's interesting, right? I don't watch a lot of political news anymore because it's frustrating to me. And it's frustrating because of so much speculation, so much like hyperbole, so much I'm in my feelings. So I can be a pundit and I can say whatever I want. And I don't like circular conversations. So things are like that are irritating to me. So, and because I have a Roku, if you guys have Roku out in these streets, I'm just going to say and encourage you all to find like the Pet Collective, because it brings life all the way down. And so I run the show with all the pets on there, and or if I want to laugh, because laughter is really good. It gives us such a burst of energy, but it also releases energy, which we want to do, people. You want to do. So, I'll watch Fail Army because it's just funny, right? And so, but protect your space and spirit in these times of political changes. So, good morning. I see my family on here. I see my sisters on here. Good morning, ladies. Good morning in the world. If you are watching me from somewhere else. Y'all, did I tell you like I have people in Nigeria watching me? So that means I need you all to share, tell more people about this podcast. But I do want to say this, right? So I meant to say this last week and we got off topic, I got off topic, but this is just my little thing. So you all remember Maria Kondo? Like she was the chick that taught people how to organize and love your stuff. And if you don't like it, say thank you to it and retire it and whatever. I'm just going to say, I never really got into her stuff. It's on my to-do list because I know she had a show on Netflix. So, but the other day they asked her about her cleaning habits, right? Meaning like, how does she clean her house? How often does she clean her home? What does she do? And I read that because I was just like, okay, what is, the simplified idea of a cleaning your house, right? Because if you see some of these videos of people cleaning their homes, I swear to God that people throw bleach, Lysol, whatever on the floors, and they start scrumming. So I just want to let y'all know, if I'm judging something, I'm gonna tell y'all up front. So I'm judging Marie Kondo, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because she said she does not clean her bathtub. Um, and let me explain how she says she cleans it. She doesn't take any Comet, Clorox, Lysol cleaning. Um, she doesn't take any of that stuff to clean her bathtub. What she does is she just kind of rinses it with water, and then she speaks to it and is like, thank you for, I don't know, letting me shower in here. And so that's just been in my spirit. I had to get that off my spirit because I was just like, I don't understand how it's possible that we ain't. Y'all, I just need, so what are y'all cleaning y'all bathtubs with? That's something I'm gonna ask everybody today. Even I feel like even when I'm in the grocery store, because y'all, I need to know. So, and yeah, I need to know. I need you all to out yourselves if you all are brave enough to share and tell me what kind of what do you use to wash your bathtub. And I will judge you if you tell me you just rinse it out with some water and let it go live its best life, and thank it for the opportunity. So that's me in my judgment space. That's me in judgment number one. Because actually I have a judgment number two, because as I was trying to go to sleep last night, I read a lot right before bed. And this is when I get to catch up on not news stories. And when I say news, I don't mean like war and all that kind of stuff. I kind of catch up on the life stories of human beings and so forth, and the storytelling that sometimes comes from that. And I came across a story, and the headline was "The Woman Who Falsely Accused the Groveland Park Four Has Died." And I went, wait, what? Because only earlier this week, because today is Thursday, there was an article about one of the men, one of the remaining and surviving men of the Groveland Park Four. I don't know if he passed away or something happened that he made the headline, and I just kind of ran to the news story so I could read it. And if you don't know, everyone out there in the interwebs, the Groveland Park Four, that story is infamous. And I'm intentionally using the word infamous because back in 19 something, I'm sorry, I should have written the date down, but I'm challenged because I kind of am trying to remove it from my psyche. A white woman was driving down the highway, and she claims she got pulled over, and these four Black men kidnapped her, hijacked her car, took her off to another side of a highway, and raped her. And she went to the police. She named four Black men, young Black men at the time. And so long story short, they were able to catch two of them, and one got shot, like one was killed. Two were in jail for life. And lo and behold, it came to be that she had lied. And I'm just going to say this, my personal opinion. No one has to put me, I'm going to speak from my personal opinion. I do not believe that those cases were rare back when we were segregated. And so, so these men's lives were totally decimated. And she has died. She was 92 years old. Her name was Norma Paget Upshaw. And what really bothered me about that, I was like, why didn't you name her? Why did I have to go 3 paragraphs to figure out who she was? And my understanding, she was never convicted of a crime, because we seem to say, oh, old elderly white women who lie about in their interactions with Black men, they're too old to get punished. And so she was never punished. And I'm in the space of trying to understand why that would occur. And there's a multitude of answers to that. But I wondered though, this idea of forgiveness, because we always talk about forgiveness is ourselves, or that's how I was taught. And that's what I truly believe in the aura of the world, in our personal and business relationships, because we're supposed to forgive everyone if we are followers of a higher power. And so it just kind of dawned on me like last night, as I was struggling to sleep after reading this article, and then this morning rushing to make my coffee, I was wondering, are we supposed to forgive things of others when when we weren't a participant? Meaning like we weren't the ones that harmed, and it's almost like we're like touch and agree. And this is a lot of, especially in the African American community, the Black community, there's a lot of things that have occurred in history that have made us angry. And I don't know if we're supposed to forgive those people too, even though it didn't directly harm us. So I'll be meditating on that today, because I truly do believe in forgiveness. And I see that we have some cleaning confessions. So I see that Kevin Miles said that comment is the only acceptable answer. Here we go, y'all. Somebody always think they're the right. They are right, the right. We've got Emily says that she uses vinegar and lemon juice, which are both acidic for all of us science people. And because guess what? That's a healthy, clean way of doing it. And you don't get chemicals on little people's skin. That makes sense, right? We do it healthy way. I see. Hey, Marla. Good morning, sister. I see that we have bathroom comment. Number 2 for comment. Clorox general purpose spray, white vinegar, baking soda, and scrubbing tools. Now, I hope that's not all going in the bathtub at one time, Miss Gloria. Because you were damn near creating chemical warfare in your bathroom. And then, of course, we got like Miss Myers and bleach. So, we're just talking about fun stuff over here. So let me just keep rolling, because y'all, we're gonna take you robot prep for a commercial in a second. And so thank you all for joining me. If you are here for the first time, my name is Kadada Esmera Gray. I'm a conflict coach, and we have some interesting conversations about conflict and how it all intersects with life based on certain topics. And so today's topic, we are coming back to a part 2, July 4th. I couldn't even remember it was July 4th, but July 4th, it was, the topic was, why do women have to listen to men, right? And so that was a topic because we have a lot of red pill podcasters out here talking about the submission of women. We have, from a biblical perspective, people say that we need to be submissive. We need to listen. We need to let them lead us. And so we had some friends on of the show that were here. It got a little hot. I hope y'all have some iced tea to cool down or something, because it got a little hot, in a friendly way, because we all love each other here. I see Emily is starting up already. She was like, why do men, period? We're not going to begin with that this morning, Sister Emily. But yeah, it was so amazing, the conversation. Like, we had a conversation from Christianity perspective, we had it from an Islamic perspective in the Quran. So, but there was a sister girl, Jennifer, who I don't know what happened. I think there was an intervention of a higher power, and they were like, she will not get on this show because she wanted to make a comment, y'all. And she had some comments, and that was not allowed. And I wanted to hear what she had to say. I'm sure our brothers wanted to hear what she had to say as well, and as well as in the universe. So we decided we're going to do a part two. And so that is today. So we have brought back Jennifer Simmons, sister girl and guest, of the show. Live Coaching Today presents my big brother, Luther, who is a handful all the way from Thailand. And then we have our favorite resident pastor, Jean Ward. And so when we come back, we're going to discuss some things, and it might get a little heated. Oh, let me tell you all, I'm sorry. Let me be better. I haven't finished my coffee yet this morning. So we're going to talk about the Bible, life, and conflict and relationships, right? So we're going to talk about how the thread of conflict literally lies inside of our relationship with others, whether it's an intimate relationship, business relationship, just a friendly relationship, and life challenges and topics, right? And so this is we're going to learn today. I'm not going to say this is a Christian podcast today, because it's not. It is really our interactions and understandings of it. And if you are a person of faith, I think we should be open to all kinds of conversations around this. And so I just have, some conversation that we're going to have, because I have some questions. And if you all have questions, I need you to drop them in the chat, right? Don't hesitate so I can see them. The guests can see them. Also, if someone says something that you're like, wait a minute, I need to get on it, like I need to come on, Kadada, and say what I need to say. I need you to say that in the podcast, and my producer, Yoruba, is going to send you a link to get on the show, because we want to hear your voices too. And so definitely share. But Yoruba, we can go ahead and take a break, and you guys are going to watch me drink my coffee and breathe for a second, because
welcome to Life Coaching Today Presents, hosted by Kadada.
One of the biggest challenges for coaches, practitioners, and hypnotherapists is getting clients. As coaches ourselves, we know how difficult it is on social media to stand out and gain credibility. That is why at Life Coaching Today, we connect coaches like you with clients. It all starts with our directory, where it's possible to create a profile that gets the right exposure with over 12,000 hits a month. You can gain credibility by writing for Life Coaching Today magazine, add videos, be interviewed on our podcast, teach classes in the community, and sell your products directly from our website. Not to mention, we actually connect clients who are actively searching for coaches who can best serve them. So if you are struggling to get clients, have Life Coaching Today help you get more clients. Go to lifecoachingtoday.com.
y'all, good morning. I don't know who decided to mute me, but it's okay. But I'm back. Good morning, everyone. My name is God Esmeralda Gray. I am your lovely conflict coach on Life Coaching Today Presents. And I saw y'all nodding your head saying, yes, she is lovely. That's what I said.
Good morning.
Do I have to pull out? I'll wait for the confirmation that I'm lovely. It's okay. It's all right. It's okay. I see no love this morning. Welcome. If this is your first time, today we are going to discuss the Bible, relationships, and life, and the conflict and that thread that runs all the way through it. Now, I see that we are still waiting for our pastor. I may have to ping him because I just want to let y'all know. Y'all, I'm gonna whisper this though. His wife sent me a message and was like, Kadada, I can't wait. So Latasha girl, we're ready for you. Ready.
Wow. That's good. That's good. That's good support. That's good spousal support.
Right. Spousal support, Lord. So as we were waiting for the pastor, I just want to say, whoa, someone just pinged me. Oh, he said he's on. We'll get you on in a second. We'll let Yoruba find him because y'all, apparently he was lost. He was lost, y'all. So this morning I said, like, we were going to talk about the Bible, life, and relationships, and those, how it's all threaded together, and our conflicts around that. No matter what you feel like, I'm not going to say I am. If you are 1,000% Christian, caping for the Lord, knocking on people's doors while they hide behind we're not going to talk about them, but the ones that hide it, or if you are Islamic or whatever, right? Whatever faith that you are and you believe a higher power, for some odd reason, we have all of these threads of the Bible, and in how it intercepts even in almost is so the pastor's having issues with with technology this morning. That might be a sign, y'all. That might be a
I
sign.
can't laugh though. See, because last time,
right,
it was divine intervention, just divine. Divine.
So the sister girl who is just talking, Jennifer Simmons, was the sister that could not get on at all, y'all. I mean, she was like, let me run into the kitchen. Let me do some handstands, just trying to get her comment in. And the Lord intervened. And would not let her on, but the Lord says she can come back today. And so she is here. Say, hey, Jennifer.
Good morning, everybody. Listen, sister, it's always a pleasure to be seen as well as to be heard. And that day I could not be seen or heard. I was traumatized. I said, wait now, they are covering topics that I have deeply in my spirit. And I want to respond. But again, I am one that definitely surrenders to if it is not the right time, the right time will eventually show up. And so
that's right.
I'm glad that we're back together today. And again, anytime that you and I, Kadada, are in the room, it's a good time. It's a good time.
It's a good time. Welcome and thank you for being here. And then you all, I see he said Mr. Jones, my big brother Luther Jones, who is full of trouble, full of intellect, and snatching lives, y'all. Snatching lives. And so he is joining us from Thailand, which it is now 7:30 at night over there. So welcome, big brother. Nice to see you. And we are going to still wait for the pastor. But while we do, because I heard from Jennifer, but big brother Luther, we're trying to have a conversation around Marie Kondo and her not washing her bathtub appropriately or without any chemicals. And she just rinses her bathtub out with water, and then she praise and thanks it for its use. I don't know. That apparently sanitizes the tub. So, question for you: what do you use to clean your bathtub?
So I'm not sure. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, okay. Because I was thinking about that, and I said, well, I have to go ask my housekeeper. So. So I'll have to get back to you on that one.
Come through, brother. Come through, Brother Jones.
Sorry.
Uh-oh. Kadada has muted herself or something's happened. You've taken her voice away.
Lord, I'm sorry about that, you all. I almost took oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm glad I was able to swallow my coffee. And let me just say, I'm not mad because I didn't want to sound pretentious and bougie, because I was like, I don't know either, because that's what my housekeeper does.
I love it so much. I mean, we all can't be the same. That's the reason why we're here, right?
Listen, y'all, I'm here for it, but for some of us, we're gonna have to ask someone else what we clean our bathtub with.
I'm just saying. But while we're waiting, I did want to share something that I got today.
Okay.
And I always say God has a different way of communicating with me.
Mm-hmm.
And so while I was thinking about this podcast, this is the conversation that God had with me today. And what he said was, women keep receipts. And I thought about that. I was like, what are you talking about? And what he said was, a marriage contract is a receipt. And when you fail to honor that marriage contract, they got a receipt about what you said you was going to do and you didn't do. And if you do, as a man, if you doing what you said, like to honor, to trust, to our marriage vows, right? She's not going to complain about what she agreed to, but she is going to complain about what you didn't do that you did agree to do. And the way God put this to me is that when you go to work, you expect to get paid. That paycheck stub is a receipt. If that money, how long is that money not going to be in the bank before you start questioning it? So if you can understand that, how long does your behavior as a man has to be before she starts questioning your behavior? Because she got the receipt. And I just want to share with y'all, that's what I got today, is that we as men want women to adhere to what we say without considering our own behavior.
That part.
And we have to then turn around. If she's complaining about listening to you, then what are you doing that's driving this?
I need to listen. Before you continue, let me just move to the couch and grab some pillows and get comfortable, because
I mean, I had to really think about that. I had to think about, because we, in the Bible, we want to say that we are in charge, large and in charge. That's what we want to say. That's our claim to fame, that God made me a man and I'm in charge. But the one thing God gave me is that purpose, motivation, and direction.
Wait. Hold on. We got to write motivation and direction. All
purpose,
right.
Motivation, and direction.
Okay.
And as a leader, when you have problems with someone in your staff, it's one of those three pillars that's driving the problem. Because they lack purpose, motivation, or direction.
Okay.
That's undeniable. You can't look at your subordinate person and say you need to motivate yourself, because that's what you get paid to do. To provide the motivation. You can't say that they need to find self-direction. No, because as the leader, that's what your job is.
Well, before you keep...
And my thing is, we have people that want to be leaders, but they don't want to provide purpose. When a woman is challenged, why are we doing this? Is that her or is that you? When she has to say, why are we always broke? Why are we not paying the bill? Why are we not moving forward in our relationship? Is that her or is that you? And I think that's that personal accountability that was mentioned on the last time we had this call. Is, are we being personally accountable? If you want to be in charge, if that's what you want, are you then accountable? Because at the end of the day, anyone can give orders. It don't take a rocket science to do that. But anyone cannot be accountable. But what I wanted to say, and I see the Reverend is here, but what I wanted to say is, women keep receipts. And what are those receipts saying? I'll turn it back. There we go.
Look, I mean, listen.
Hey, good morning. How are we doing?
Swinging. And
good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Jean Ward. We are so happy that you joined. Oh, wait, what you doing this for? You getting ready? When you finally see this, like, he is rubbing his hands together. When you find me on YouTube, he is rubbing his hands together like, oh, yeah, I'm about to get it. Because Big Brother Luther, well, first of all, so Dr. Ward, I need you to bring us greetings and just how
Mhm.
you been, how you doing.
Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? I am happy to be here once again. I do apologize for my tardiness. Phone died, and then this is the week all the schools are getting back together. So I've been navigating all that and trying to get things together and be at three places at one time. So I do apologize for not getting on. I did send a message because I was like, "What time again?" Because I was like running, and then my wife was like calling, "What time you got? What time is it?" I was like, "We're on now," and then my phone died. So I do apologize once again. Hey Jennifer, how you doing? Loving your banter
Oh, blessed and highly favored. Blessed
Yes,
and highly
ma'am.
favored.
Yes, ma'am.
So I think
Mr. Jones, I've been following you, watching you. Thank you. Definitely love what you're saying. So I'm going to turn it back to Gadada, and then I'm going to go back to deal with what you were talking about.
okay, so I'm going to take a point of privilege because we love the good Robert's Rules of Order over here, and I am going to allow Miss Simmons to use her voice this morning. She gets to go first, and I have a little prompt but Jennifer, you get to answer this question, or you just get to answer and get some stuff off your chest, sis. Because so so we are this. Let me just say this. My show is a multicolored show. Okay. It's for all people of all shades. However, every once in a while, I have to point some stuff out that is just a part of my community. And so we have all these wonderful chocolate melanated people on today. And so as we were talking about the Bible, I have a question. So I think most of us, the Bible that we have, the version of the Bible we have is the King James Version, right? Most of us, a lot of us at least we grew up with the King James Version, if you are a child of church. And I just want to say that if you do not know much about King James, he actually paid folks to put the Bible together. So he decided and he selected which chapters of the Bible he wanted. And so that is, so there are some missing chapters of the Bible in the King James Version. And so, but for some reason, the King James.
You're muted.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you're
couldn't hear
going in
you.
and out. King James basically paid folks to come up with the Bible for him. He left some chapters out. He left a lot of chapters out, not some, a lot of chapters out. And some of those important chapters revealed the relationship that the Lord Jesus had with women in his thought process and who he thought could be in leadership and service, right? And so I just want to know. And so because of that, and if you know, there's some challenges with the King James Bible that I personally have. And one is that King James was a whole raging misogynist. He was not in favor of women. And I mean, he basically said they're weaker and they're more prone to the devil's lure. That is in the Bible. I forgot, I didn't write down what verse that was. And he basically said that, you know what, if she's not a good woman, she's 2 seconds away from being a witch. That's what he said about her. So that's King James, and that's the Bible that we as Black people seem to hold on to. So keep that there. The other thing I want to say is that Jesus, because sometimes, if I have to listen to the red pill podcasters or some of these pastors who say that women are supposed to be underneath men, you would think that a woman was literally created in Adam's likeness, but that is not true. Just because the rib, all that the Lord created, that does not mean that we were made in Adam's likeness. If you were a believer, you believe that the Lord did say that, or women were created in God's likeness. Okay. And because women were created in God's likeness, that means, and just like Adam, just like man, we basically have the same things. We have this ability for self-awareness. We have ability to want our own self-determination and our personal freedoms. So knowing all that being said, Jennifer Simmons, why you love the King James Bible from somebody who doesn't even like you and your kind?
Oh, That is a very
You're on mute, hon.
pointed question.
You're muted.
Am I?
No, we
I
are.
can hear.
I was
We
just saying,
here.
We can't hear you.
We can hear
oh,
you.
you can hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, now I can hear you. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, maybe there's a little bit of a lag or something like that. But to your points, what I can say in terms of whether King James paid for or didn't pay for certain aspects of the Holy Bible, as many Black, African American, whether you're Caribbean, wherever you land in the diaspora, I will agree with the fact that the King James Version of Christianity, particularly in the Bible Belt in the South, is highly regarded and highly referenced. And I don't take issue with that. I grew up AME initially um, as a child of a mother and a father and a family deeply, as I've stated before, I'm a native Atlantan. So for me, there's a lot of there's not just patriarchy, but there's Southern patriarchy. There's Jim Crow. There is the civil rights aspect of church in the metropolitan Atlanta area that is deeply, deeply, deeply entrenched in education, as well as whatever. It's almost sectarian in terms of, the east side and the west side, where you go to church, who you go to, who you're with. Is very much even tied to Greek sororities and fraternities. So I'm going to come from a perspective, personally. I'm coming from, from my own personal platform, not necessarily associated with any group, but still to say and represent the same. I'm the same everywhere. That if the thought process is simply that a woman is to be subservient to man, because I think that's the point. That's what it gets to. That's the sticking point that comes up in church. That's the sticking point that comes up in relationships, that, women have a problem with being submissive, and men have this insatiable intolerance to govern and lead and lord over. That becomes the conversation most times, and it doesn't really go any further than that. It is because depending on what types of relationships you've personally had, whether you had a good or bad relationship, mother, father, sister, brother, when it comes to men and women, we tend to get stuck. And I'm speaking of Black people in specific. We get stuck. Can I just say we get stuck and we get mad and we stop thinking? We are no longer participating in a conversation. You're speaking about that last thing you were mad at, the last person who said the thing. And you forget about, well, what was the topic? What were we actually supposed to be discussing? And that's what I try not to do, just personally, and being individually aware. To your point about King James and his perspective of women being beneath, that's not the God that I serve. That I don't interpret it that way. I have not even grown up that way. I'm thankful that I have grown up in a family where a construct existed where the women in the family and the men in the family are largely lauded and included as equal, as partners. And I think even having that, it wasn't perfect by no stretch of the imagination, because I think when you say something like what I'm saying, is that it is assumed that there is a level of education and eliteness, and because you have this it's almost even Eurocentric perspective, because of the way that I even speak, that you have a different perspective than someone from the hood, if you will, that's more urban. And I just want to say that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your social status is. If you have an issue with, as Brother Jones said, accountability, that was the point that in our last conversation, that when Pastor Ward was bringing up certain specifics about the conversation that we were having at that time. And there were certain scriptures that he brought forth. He did pray and he brought certain scriptures forth that led me to at least question, not questioning anything about his faith, his belief, or how he leads the flock that follows, that God has given him to teach and instruct. But more so, I just question the patriarchal influence, because I think that there are certain elements of church and state that have been completely thrown out of the window, particularly in this political environment. All of that is thrown out of the window. Everyone is sharp-tongued and opinionated, and everybody's mad. Everybody's angry. Everybody wants to fight, and it is showing up in friendships. It's showing up in the workplace, and so I want us to kind of touch on, if we can, in this time frame, even getting started later. If I am supposed to be, according to the King James theology, second in command to a man, and a man that may or may not be accountable to himself or to God, I answer your question with a question. How does that ultimately resonate for me as a wife, a sister, a mother, a daughter, an aunt, if I'm being led by someone who cannot be led? That's my question.
Yes, you are. Okay, so I think can you guys mute? Because there's a little bit of feedback. And so I'm going to have the pastor, because I'm sure he has taught on this.
I am ready. Okay, so
he's warming up, y'all, and so you have the floor.
Good morning. Again, Sister Jennifer, definitely, or maybe it just ran. It was just so much that I was speaking on. It's kind of like sometimes when I speak, it's like drinking from a fire hydrant because there's so much. So let me kind of narrow in to say this statement again for all that may have missed it before. First thing, when it comes to marriage and relationship between men and women, the first thing, and I deal with this word submission, and I've said it before, submission means that there's a subsidiary mission after the mission. Now, you're attached to someone who has no mission, has no vision, then you must ask yourself, why did you attach yourself and choose them? I guide women all the time. Do not align yourself with a man who has no mission. And what I mean by that is a mission, not his dreams, not what he's trying to do. But I've often said this from my place. I made a statement. Where is he at in his plan in life? What has he accomplished by himself? Not with the help of other people. What has he accomplished by himself? What is he led? How is he accountable? Those are the things that you look for. Get past the charisma of the individual. Okay, that is why it's very pertinent in a relationship when you're dating to spend those 24 to 48 hours of pure conversation before you actually engage physically in their presence, because the charisma will overwhelm you. And then you'll be caught up in an intimate situation to where now you're creating, as they say, soul ties. And now you're bound and it's hard to break through that. So, when those situations, and let's say you've gone through, I see where his plan is. I see where he's trying to go. I see what he's done. I see what he's accomplished. So then the conversation, what is his mission? What is his mission for himself? What is his mission for the two of you as a family? What is his mission for you? Because even with myself, my wife that I currently have, one of the things that I asked was this: what is it that you desire? What is it you want to do? And what are your goals? Because what I'm going to do is help you achieve what you got to do also. Okay. And my wife has achieved and achieving those things that she wanted. You wanted to start a healthcare company? Boom, let's do it. You wanted to become an MP? I got the household while you do that. Boom, she did it. She's working on her PhD now, and we're working together. Boom, it's a done thing. What I'm saying is, this is leadership. See, this is what true men do and what it meant by leadership. Now, at the same time, I also got the helm of this household. And I said, this is where we're going. We discussed it, but this is the vision. And if she did not like the vision, if she wasn't going to sign on to the vision, then she should never say yes to the vision. Okay. And a lot of times what happens, we get in relationships and we're so idealistic in what we want. And so therefore we miss the fact of what this man is saying because we're so busy about trying to do what we want. Now, to move back to this Bible situation, I love this thing. I love it when people go there. First of all, Kadada, I'm sorry to break and tell you this. King James actually did not like the Bible. Okay, the way it was written. It was written for commoners. He felt it was written what you would call to equate what we would equate to ebonics. Now, it also had to be approved. Okay, and we talk about the Council of Nicaea, and the thing about the Bible, I agree with you 100% because I'm a person that has studied the Dead Sea Scrolls. I have the full Ethiopian Bible with the Apocrypha, and I will stand on this and my degrees, and that is this: it all still is linear and lines up. Now, I think we miss the concept of that we're arguing, and it's only within the Black community, as she was saying earlier, that our women are arguing over power and position. And my question is, why? Is it because you feel the man you're with doesn't lead? I mean, because if you're with someone who doesn't lead, once again, you chose someone who had no vision, had no mission, and his credit was bad. And I don't mean I'm not talking about his Experian. I'm not talking about his TransUnion. I'm not talking about his Dun & Bradstreet. I'm talking about his life, soul, credit history was bad. You didn't do the background check on him. You just got caught up in it. Okay. When my wife when she was dating me, I said, listen, baby, you got to meet my friends. You got to meet my family. You got to hear the people that talk bad about me. I want you to do the background check on me because see, Mr. Jones talked about receipts. I got receipts, baby. And in my counseling sessions, I bring people, listen, well, we're gonna argue about facts, not feelings. Okay. We're gonna argue about truth and not emotions. Okay, and when we deal with that, it debunks all of this other things we're talking about. Now, there are things that my wife is better at than me. And because I am the spiritual head, that means I delegate it and say, hey, you take lead in this. And I submit to you in this. And I gave scripture about that. It says, wives submit unto your own husbands, and likewise husbands submit unto your wives. I think we missed that part where it said, likewise husbands submit unto your wives. And it also goes to say, your body is not your own, but your spouse's. And it goes deeply into speaking of the equality of that. Now, but one thing you got to remember, you cannot have a co-president. Okay, you can't have co-ownership. What there is anything with two heads is deformed. Anything with no head is dead, and that is the problem. And what we have to do is, when we want to go back to the Bible and say this is going to be our spiritual and foundational principle of what we lean on when we're trying to discover which way we should go. It is not as patriarchal as you think. If you really read the Bible, you will find out that women actually, it speaks of, are more spiritually in tune than men. You will find out, I challenge you, find me more than three women in the Bible that it speaks evil of. And you won't, but you will find how men have faltered and how it showed even the prophets have lost faith. And you'll find out how the leaders have fell short. And there were women there that had to get them back on track, but it did not still move away from the man being, okay, he's still this spiritual authority, because the fact that at the end of the day, let's put it in physicality. When a man's trying to, when a guy's trying to snatch your purse, Kadada, you want some brothers to come over there and help you. Okay? When somebody breaking my house, my wife's job is not to get up and see what's going on. It's my job to see what's going on. I train my son how to shoot because I said, listen, son, this is what's going to happen. If anybody gets killed, they're going to kill me first. Anybody gets killed second, they're going to kill you. But your mother and your sister, they will live to tell the story. We are the... Okay, that is not their job. We are the ones that's going to be here because we protect them, we cover them, we provide for them. Now,
wait, hold on, Pastor, hold on, because I feel like either we need to pass the plate, the choir need to come out and sing, or something. But let me just say, if you saw us July 4th, apparently the pastor has been practicing. He was ready for us. He was ready to come back on the show because he is just wow. But I have some questions because if you are new to the show,
Kadada,
huh?
I have a question that I need you to answer for me, if that's okay.
yes, in a second, because I need to say this. So I think part of the conversation that Jennifer and the pastor allude to is that when looking at a mate, and we're talking about men at the moment, but visionary wise too, always look at your women too, who you
Definitely.
down. It's what is it that what are they showing you that you could possibly co-sign on, right? Like what is their relationship with the Lord, right? Because it's my understanding a man is supposed to submit to God first. And so that should be one of the ways that he is leading. But John, I think you said something, why would you marry a man that has no vision? Right. And that's a whole other show about why do women marry men that have no vision, but don't have a lot of things. Right. And that comes with influence of the church, society. When I say the church, because sometimes it's just, listen, you just have to have a husband. That's it. So we just taking anybody. And so I want to say a couple things. I want to go all the way back to say, Big Brother Luther, I am glad the Lord finally told you that women bring receipts, because women been known we brought the receipts a long time ago. We carry extra bags just for receipts. So I need to say that. And then, Pastor, because I love to pick on you, and you have disclosed to us that you did remarry. And so I just want to say, Latasha, this is for you, girl. The phrase, the wife I currently have, I'm thinking you're not doing anything else anymore. So I'm gonna need you to change that language.
Thank you, sis.
My wife.
That was what I was laying. That was laying right here on me.
Like
it laid right here. I said currently. Wait. And
I don't know.
again,
I don't know.
Let me make this clear. Hold on. I gotta say this right quick. The reason I make that statement is because I am aware of the situation of where I was in my previous. And so I make a very clear distinction between, and my wife Michelle says this is, you have a wife now. And this is no shade, but the thing is the thing is who I'm married to now is a different person and made me a different man. So I have to make sure I give reverence to know that the change of things has happened. A lot of things has happened with where I'm at now.
Okay, and so you tried to clean that up, but I said I was going to get this one for Latasha. And remember the last time we spoke about soliloquies, I'm just going to say that, right? So I just want to let you know that I know you're watching, because she just said, thank you, Kadada. So I know, because you out here kind of raggedy this morning. You was doing so well.
He was doing so well. He was really doing so well.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I just want to say, sometimes we put words into sentences that are unnecessary to kind of create an experience for other people. And I'm just going to say the word currently, the reason that it sits wrong is because none of us need to know your backstory. What we need to know is that you have a fantastic wife right now. And so it's just my wife. And so we understand that you selected her because she is probably badder than you. And so that is a good thing. And so, but yeah, the current wife I have, I didn't know if y'all was on a time frame and like she had 4 more years to go. Or what?
That's how it translates.
I'm the one.
Okay, so Latasha, that was for you, girl. So, Big Brother Luther, she said, yes, I am. You have a question for me. Go ahead.
Yeah. I don't know if you can hear me because I'm like looking. I put something in the chat. Can you see that?
No, I can't see it.
I see it. I do see it.
What does it say?
Right, because what the sister said, I wanted to give an analogy of what I believe she was saying, and I put that in the chat so that everyone can clearly understand that sometimes it's not feasible to follow the Bible per the letter.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave you an example of that in the chat, because if we follow the Bible to the letter, wouldn't nobody do nothing on Saturday night to Sunday? Because it's the Sabbath. The Bible clearly says you should not work.
Right.
And if we did, as a nurse, what would you do if I left your loved one Saturday night all alone in an intensive care, because I was an intensive care nurse, and didn't come back till Sunday? What would you do?
I think it's a good point because, and yes, to my point that when you're talking about denominations, okay, we've got various denominations. And I want to preface, I'm no Bible scholar. However, I do read my Bible. I do know the word. I am a believer. And so I think, again, and we should be able to come in our own personal authority of what we believe and show up as a whole person in that way and be able to communicate as such. If we can't, then we will never actually evolve beyond the conversation. And I love that Mr. Jones brought up the point, the literal interpretation of the Sabbath and keeping it holy is that you do not work from sunrise to sunset on the Sabbath.
Hold on, wait a minute. But once again, you must go back to the same scripture what Christ said when they tried to question him on being the Sabbath. And he said, would you not feed your sheep and feed your ox on the Sabbath just because it's Sabbath and it still work? So therefore, when we look at that, Christ did address that issue. So there's certain things that you still must look at and say, hey, wait a minute, these things are things that have to be done, not in understanding the context of what they meant. So Christ addressed that in the New Testament.
But you just answered the question. You just answered the question, because who then decides when we don't follow something and when we do? You answered the question, and I think that was her question.
Jennifer has a comment that she's trying to finish, so I'm going to allow her to do that.
Thank you. I appreciate that, sister. And again, it's not combative to actually ask or to have a comment. That's what I will say this because and again, I do work in politics, so I'm going to bring that to the forefront. When women speak in the authority that they already have given by God himself. Let me say that one more time. When women speak in the authority that they have given by God himself, it is unnecessary for any man, anywhere, to feel the urging or the necessity to mansplain. And I know this is going to touch some spaces, because here's the thing. I can use the same tone I'm using now or be elevated in my conversation, and it automatically, I never even got to finish my point, which you did eloquently, Pastor Ward, explain from a Christian perspective that yes, Christ handled that. And I never got a chance to even say it because it was, and I'm going to use some conjecture, presumed that I was not even going to have the wherewithal to explain that from a Christian perspective. And I'm saying that sometimes taking a pregnant pause or a deep breath before assumptions, because sometimes assumptions, and we all do it, are made on who can say the things, who has the authority to say the things, back to being submissive and being a good listener and being able to have a productive conversation that is not inciting a combative environment. So that's what, again, for women, we confront that all, Black women in specific, all the time. How much can I show up? How much can I say before I'm shut down?
So
can I interject here? And can I say this? Yes, in defense of the pastor, from a cultural perspective, the authority has always been that of the pastor. So I think we need to rethink that. His way of saying, like he talked about, the 213 canonized. As a pastor, we expect him to know that, but we don't expect everybody else to know that.
That is true.
So I think his perspective is not one of condescending, but his knowledge. That's what he does.
No, actually, I think
let me, if I may clarify, not condescension. please understand, because I know whether Pastor Ward and I have seen each other in person or just here in the podcast, I by no means ever get that he's being condescending towards me at all.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, I'm speaking broadly, and I think we know where I'm, or if you don't know where I'm going with it, what I'm saying, professionally and even in church spaces, in regular everyday conversation, oftentimes Black women confront what God has already deposited and downloaded for them in that day, in our own prayer lives. And sometimes we come to the table in a conversation, and I can only speak from myself. There are times where God has given us an absolute direct message, and it is not necessarily respected or even heard, completely heard by the men in our circumference. And that is, I just say that it's factual in my experience.
Yeah. And thank you for saying that, because even taking out, and I know that people are joining, and so we will roll probably around till 8:30. But I just want to say, like, this is a conversation around the Bible, relationship, and life's issues, right? And the thread around that. I see you, Pastor. I see you. And so I just want to say, I want to address this idea of, women's voices being heard, and if there is a connection that I was made in the image of the Lord, and with all my self-determination and so forth, I'm going to assume and believe that the Lord gave me, as a woman, a level of intelligence, a level of understanding, and a true sense of how to care for myself. Because let's truth be told, right? Before we're in relationships where someone is taking care of us, we should be and are able to take care of ourselves, right? And a lot of women are very successful in their own right prior to an intimate relationship like that. And so I just want to make sure that we understand that our voices, women's voices that get shut down, they're shut down all over the place, not only in intimate relationships, but at work. And it's really interesting to hire people into the workplace and then don't want to hear their voices if it's in a male dominated space. I work in politics too, and it's heavily male dominated. And there have been times, depending, that I've had to shut some stuff down, having to speak to a man just to hear my voice being heard because I had more experience, right? And so when you have to retire your intellect, your spirit, your gift in the name of a level of submission to the other gender, I think it's something that we need to be mindful of, because I'm not going to lie, some men's visions, and everyone can evolve and everyone gets the right to choose their men. Some of it's just, you have no common sense. Some of it is not even close to being of sense, right? And so, and like I said, because this is not a relationship show at the moment, but everyone can choose the type of mate they have, right? And so if I'm choosing someone that I know I can carry them, because listen, there are some submissive men out there that are okay with a woman's vision or her leadership skills or her financial opportunities to grow and how much money she's making. So I think that we need to be mindful of that, to say that the negotiation between who is going to be the head or the lead or share, because Pastor, you used the word, it's interesting example that you said, and sometimes wordplay is interesting for me. So you said that, your wife is stronger than you in certain things, right? And so that happens. Everyone should bring both of their gifts. But you said you delegated that task to her. And I'm not too sure I understand why delegation has to be executed, because if she is better at it, just do it. And so that's just me. And so the word delegate, because I figure, listen, if you are more fantastic balancing a checkbook, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and do it. We don't even need to have, that's not delegation, baby. I support you in your gift. End of story. But I'm gonna go ahead and give you a platform to speak. I'm gonna give you you've got 2 minutes
Ooh, two.
Because
Okay. So first, let me say this.
I see some questions over here that we need to address. So go
Okay.
ahead.
So first, let me say this. My response was actually to Mr. Jones when he asked the question. So I didn't know that. I do apologize. I didn't realize you were answering the question. I thought that was directed towards me about that. That was the reason why I responded about that specifically about the Sabbath day. Now, Kadada, to answer your question that you just inquired about the word delegated that I spoke of. And that is because, yes, I was using a word and speaking of authority, because at the same time, I am the spiritual authority. I said that earlier. My wife will address it, will atone to that. That is scripture. That is the way it's supposed to be, because at the end of the day, when things go wrong, it falls back on the man. Okay, when bills need to be paid or something needs to be happening, I'm the one that has to make it happen. That's what a man does. That's what we're supposed to do. That's how we provide, how we protect, and how we cover. That is our responsibility. What I kind of confused about is the fact that what is the real argument over. Now, I love the scripture.
Hold on, you said you're confused by. I'm going to clarify something. I just want to say, because I think that delegation means I'm giving you something that you do not have. If I have, I'm going to say something. If I have something, you can't delegate something to me that I already have. So, okay, now I just need to say that.
Delegation is the fact that I'm delegating you, saying I can do it. You're better than me, and I'm going to go ahead and give you the authority to handle this. Okay. And that's just like in a corporate entity. Now, so therefore I still am. And there's some husbands, unfortunately, that they don't delegate that, and they do suffer because of that. That is one of the reasons why certain financial situations go awry, because they do not have the wherewithal to submit and delegate that over to their spouses. So there is a positioning there. We must always keep that in mind. Now, we made a question earlier, and we kind of hit on it before, and it was, I believe, it was 1 Peter 3:6, and it says, "Wives, in the same way submit to yourselves, your own husbands. If any of them do not believe the word, that they may be won over without words by behavior of their wives when they see the purity, reverence of your lives. Your beauty should not come from the outward adornment, such as elaborate hairstyles." And it goes on to say, how do you win your man over? How do you get him to understand? And that is not through bashing them. That is not through demonizing them. But one of the greatest things I tell women that say that my husband won't come to church. Well, first thing you don't do. You don't go home and tell him what the pastor said. You never tell your man what another man said. Only thing you do is you operate how a godly woman should operate. And he will begin to see a change. And he'll begin to wonder, why all of a sudden is my wife treating me so greatly? What is it about? Because I know most men know when they're not worth anything, they're not crap. Okay. And if you have a man that doesn't know, then we need to look at your judgmental skills. Okay, I'm just going to be 100 with it. Everybody got to take their little accountability. But I do it. I counsel enough men, and I deal with them, and they will say, "Yeah, I know I'm not nothing. I know I don't treat her right. I know I'm doing wrong. Even the stuff I do that she doesn't know I do. I know." So, but when you begin to act right, I can tell you so many times how I watch brothers just sit back and change because the guilt hits them. And then the Spirit of God that she has and she's embodied, that is so powerful, that begins to take over the whole household. And he begins to get his life right, or he will leave, because darkness can't live in light. So I think what we have to understand is everybody has their position and their power. And I don't understand. I think this whole struggle for saying, well, I want to be number one. I don't want the man to be number one. And especially in our race, in the only culture that it happens in American Black culture, it just bewilders me, because we've seen when we operate within the order that it does work fine, and it worked well before. But I mean, now we say, well, Pastor, you just want to be, you want to have me because you're a man, you're operating that way. No, at the same time, I'm the same man that said in the Bible, it is said and proven that women are spiritually stronger than men, where men are physically stronger than women. You all are spiritually better than us. You have a stronger faith than we do. You have a consistent faith more than we do. Nobody will ever argue that. But why can't we just come together and say, you know what? You have your strong points. You have your strong points. But the greatest thing, just because this person is a king doesn't mean he's the smartest person. He's just a king. Okay. And without the people around him, he would be nothing. He would be a fool as a king without the great advisors that he has.
Thank you for that, because you lead into something that in everyone's experience comes into play. And so, Jennifer, I'm gonna give you a second, but I need to just ask this question so everybody else can ponder it around the idea of financial leadership in the household. But I think it also comes down to, when we ask women to be submissive, right? There can be a financial aspect to that, like whether a man weaponizes the bank account, her access to money, that kind of thing. And so what does that say? How do we navigate and have an understanding of that? I mean, I read stories. I deal with a lot of women who are just like, they're suffering really financial misabuse, right? They can't have access to the money. And so, but that is said because the man is the head of the household per se. So Jennifer, you had a point that you wanted to make.
No, I just wanted to give Pastor Ward, from me to you, in terms of, I agree, there cannot be two heads in a corporation, a house. There has to be order. I believe in divine order. There has to be a final say. There has to be a final say. There has to be protection. There has to be. So I don't want it to be lost in conversation just because there is an assertive professional woman speaking, married or unmarried. Right. The point still remains that, and I think we're here now because the whole temperature of our conversation is a warm place now. When you're talking about that spiritual intellect that women have, and being able to not only spiritually recognize when whomever the man is, be they pastor, brother, uncle, cousin, has spoken in proper authority, proper accountability, you're going to also, like you said, you're going to get a completely different response from that woman, from that girlfriend, from that fiance. That is respect, because respect is what is not happening oftentimes in these conversations, whether we recognize it or not. I'm saying we've all got to come out of our corners and stop being so defensive to say what we are trying to say or try to be heard in a certain way. And I love the conversation that we're having because I value highly pastors who get it, and it ain't many. There are not many pastors, and it's not just my experience, it's just what is in the atmosphere. False prophets. We are living in a time where you're seeing people speak in a way, and in turn, men and women, that are not speaking in the authority that they're supposed to be speaking in, but they're speaking in an authority, and it is causing chaos. So, Kadada, I think I had a question, because when you're talking about when you were just talking about financial abuse as it relates to the very sensitive topic of men being the head and men being leaders of the family. And I know from a counseling perspective, that is almost counterintuitive in terms of how women who have been taught to be submissive in the wrong way. Let me be clear about what I'm saying. That a lot of times in the church, be it doesn't matter the church, but we're talking about Black people, and typically we're talking about King James Version to stay on topic and task, that the interpretation of the King James Bible in American Black Christianity, let me say it that way. Yeah. Oftentimes, especially in the Bible Belt, you have women who have suffered at the hands.
Can I break in just for a minute?
Sure. No. Okay. I'm going to go ahead, Jennifer. Let Jennifer finish her thought for a second.
Thank you. But you have women who have suffered under that uh, denominational or just within their ability to understand their role as a wife, to that I have to submit to the head. So if I want certain things, I have to ask if they don't work, if they don't have an education. I'm using it from that perspective. And sometimes even if they do, that because of, I'm gonna use the word delegate, if the person who is delegating the money in the household, father, uncle, husband, fiance, and using that abusively, because I don't want to talk about it from a foreign perspective. It's happening every day. We all know someone who is someone, or either is someone or knows someone who is financially abusing a woman that we know very close to us. What do you do when that is the case? Because I understand what you're saying, Pastor, about if you didn't make a good choice about character to begin with, then you have to question. Yes, you do. You have to question, well, that's on me. What did I decide to sign up for? Take accountability, because accountability goes both ways. You can't just expect for men to take accountability and you not take accountability as a woman in terms of seeing who you are choosing as a partner. But what do you do when there is financial abuse? I'm asking Pastor Ward, and there is, just a strong, we may not even be talking about physical abuse, but financial abuse is probably more rampant than physical.
Okay.
So, before Pastor Ward, I know Luther has something to say. So
I wanted to say something. And I agree. I'm telling you, this is my personal belief, right? So I'm going to tell you something. You cannot take a 4,000-year-old story that applied to a time that does not exist now. 4,000 years ago, women did not have the level of education. They did not have the affluence. They did not have the capability that they do now. Women 4,000 years ago, the Lord, they called their husbands Lord. That means he had complete ownership over everything. I think we would have to admit that is not the case today. So I think where I see two different perspectives. I hope I'm being respectful. I see hers, and I do agree that she's coming from a modern perspective. And I don't know that you can take that modern perspective and carve it up and put it into a 4,000-year-old box.
That part.
I agree with that.
That part. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm just saying we just need to think about it. And then one last thing, and I'm going to say this, Pastor, because I'm just saying I've been watching you two. Are you talking to each other, or are you talking together? Are you listening to respond, or are you listening to understand? Because it took me 50 minutes to really listen to her, and then I understood what she was saying.
And that was thank you. That was my whole goal, is to not just be speaking, but to also listen. Because again, I could easily, because of my modern application of a 4,000-year-old text, right, be in opposition to some of the things that Pastor Ward is saying. But that's not the case. At least I can speak for me. That's not the case. I'm seeking to understand not only his perspective, but because he's a pastor, I am seeking to understand and truly hear how he is administering this information and fleshing it out for those who respect and honor and listen to him as their pastor. It's important.
Okay.
Now, I would be honest. I didn't understand. I wasn't listening till I really about 20 minutes.
I think you froze.
I
didn't hear anything you just said.
And that's when I started to understand, she does have a point.
Luther, you have to repeat what you said because you froze. So you said you weren't really listening until 20 minutes in, and then I lost you.
Yeah. So what I was saying is that when she first started talking at the beginning of the podcast, I was listening to respond, but I wasn't listening to what she was saying. Until when she started.
That is such an honest statement.
That's very honest.
You know what I'm saying? Now, honestly, like Look, kudos
That's
to
adult,
Luther just being
that's adult
able.
stuff.
Yeah,
That's adult
that's
stuff
grown.
right there.
That was a very
The grown folks.
adult and self-aware statement that, again, I'm thankful for, because I want healing in these conversations. This is not just talking to be talking.
Right, I agree.
And I'm not trying to be right either. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right,
it's,
right.
I know my own inefficiencies, but I do want to hear, is it Pastor Ward's turn to
Yes,
respond?
and let me just say that we have 5 to 6 minutes. 5 to 6 minutes. 5 to 6 minutes. So, Pastor Ward, I'm gonna need to get a little sign for you and do 30 seconds. I'm gonna count you down. 30.
That works. I can deal with it. Allow me to say this first, Mr. Jones. Actually, the information you were saying was a little bit off. 1 Kings 10:1-3 deals with Queen Sheba. 1 Kings 16 deals with Queen Jezebel. Then we have the Book of Esther, and then we have Athala. With the queens go back in leadership, and women go back way past 4,000 years. David even was talking to Queen Sheba, and she was an awesome ruler. Women have been in power and been in position. So to sit back and say that it's a new concept, it's not. But I understand the concept of what you were saying, the point you're trying to bring forward. But I'm only saying this for those that are listening, that they won't just take a soundbite of what you said and run with it. So this is just for those that are watching, so they can get everything in its full understanding and clarity. So the next thing about it is this, and when it comes back to financial abuse or any abuse, Jennifer, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I love you and I agree with you. My concern, I don't like abuse in any area. And this goes back to the very beginning of what you literally said, and agreeing to what I was speaking of. You have to have these discussions. Men, and I have to say this, men and women have used money in relationships as a manipulator. Okay, I think did I break up? They've used money as a manipulator, and I've watched this happen. I've spoken with women that say, if I make all the money, then I'm telling him what to do. Be in control. Wait. I'm the one that's going to be in control, and that is not healthy on any realm. That's why the Bible says the two shall become one. When the two become one, and I have this conversation with couples, that means those bank accounts become one. It's not your money and his money. It's you all's money. Now, I heard, well, he's not financially responsible, so I won't put my money with him. Then you all discuss how that looks, and you give all each other an allowance, and you work within that allowance. If that's something you can't do before you get married to discuss how it is done, then you should not get married. But once again, we get all caught up in emotions and infatuations, and everything is flowing. And you don't want to back off because you told everybody, so you don't want to end a relationship because you don't want to look bad. But once you're in it and you're already married, then I would suggest get to counseling as fast as you can, because you cannot solve it yourself. You need a third party to sit there and mediate. And also something that you both said, that third party will actually help interpret so the other person can hear. That third party is literally oftentimes my job. I just interpret. Did you hear what he said? Did you hear what she said? Brother, listen. I need you to stop. Listen to what her heart is saying. Okay, I understand her rage, or I understand her emotions. I understand the outbreak. Ma'am, sister, listen, I understand his temperament. I understand how high he is. So when we get in those situations, that's what we definitely need counseling. But in both sides, financial abuse, using money, using sex, using power, using children, all those things are manipulators that we need to stop using to control a situation.
So thank you. We literally are at 8:29. So I'm going to wrap. And in my closing, I just want to say thank you all for your perspective. And I get to have the final say. So I love it. So, and I don't know what happened to Brother Luther. He just jumped off. So I do need to circle back to the financial abuse conversation and submission. And I want to clarify. So I am proud anytime anyone speaks in their truth and honesty. And so I know Emily said that she was a victim of financial abuse and stuff like that. And so I want to stay there just for a second and hold space in that, because yes, people both manipulate, but there is something about when a woman does not have access to money, there is a real thought process and an understanding at times that abusing a woman financially means that she cannot leave. And that is something to hold a woman hostage in a home. And so we need to understand that piece of the puzzle. And this is just not necessarily, it's not necessarily, well, let's just go to counseling, because if a man is that abusive, he does not want to go to counseling, because then in counseling, we're going to equal the playing field as close as possible. And so there's just a multitude of all of that. And so, and I get to interject that I don't believe that any woman should be without money, pocket money, runaway money, because that is just a safety net for a woman. And so do I see that we have women who are out here who talking about these traditional wives and they want to be a traditional woman and all of this stuff. And what they fail to realize is that there might be a demeaning aspect to having to ask for some money to go buy a box of tampons for your needs, right? And so there is that perspective. And so I don't want to close on the negative, but I do appreciate the conversation that we all have today, and the mood did shift. And I appreciate the idea and of being open and honest enough to communicate. Like, listen, I was already in a defensive posture because I was ready to pounce on you. And that's literally what that is when you say I'm not listening. I was ready to just kind of defend a position or say something. And so I appreciate that we can have an honest conversation to our own abilities about the Bible, the relationship with the Bible, that understanding of how we are all taught to interpret it. If we're taught, because some of us are just told, listen to what it says and never think anything more about it. And it is what it is, just execute. And I really appreciate the pastor today here, because the pastor went and studied and he prepared, because he knew when you come on Life Coaching Today Presents, you got to be ready to go. you got to bring it. But we are great adults here. And so the word of the day, I'm just going to leave it here, is to say accountability. And no matter if you believe in the Bible, not in the Bible, over higher text or concept, you know, we all have to be accountable to our own actions, to every decision, to every lie, to every honest moment that we have. And so thank you this happy August 1st. In closing, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Go practice accountability today. Be kind to folks. Kind, K-I-N-D. Be kind to folks, because we need more kindness. Let's put that type of energy into the air. And until next time, I will see you all next Thursday. Who knows what's going to happen in the world between now and next Thursday, y'all. But be kind, be good to each other, and be accountable. Have a good day. I'm Kadada Gray with Life Coaching Today Present. Thank you all.
Thank you. Love you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching Life Coaching Today Presents, hosted by Kadada Gray and produced by Aruba Saad. Our mission at Life Coaching Today is to empower your health, business, community, and life. Check us out at lifecoachingtoday.com. Everyone here at the True Awesome Network would like to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, and spread awesome.